Always a pleasure to welcome in former NHL goaltender and dear friend of the program, Carter Hutton. Huts, how's it going?
Oh, good. I joined on early just to hear the big segment there. Cobb's good run. I love it, boys. Things are good over here.
I figured you'd be buzzing today because UMass Lowell clipped BU 1 out of 2 this weekend. I was waiting for a text from you.
Yeah, you got to love that upset. I still remember playing at BU, skating out for a playoff series, and I turn around starting lineup, and my phone number is across the glass. I think I had about 400 missed calls. You name it, I was getting it. BU knows how to lay it on. They hated me.
That's good stuff. Let's start on a positive note with our look around the NHL. Connor Hellebuyck is basically unbeatable right now. 1 goal against in his last 3 games. I think he's the runaway favorite on Bet365 for the Vezina. Should we just give it to him now and just say, everybody else, don't worry about it? We won't even vote this year.
Yeah, I think when you look at the odds for the Vezina right now, he's plus 200 to win. And the only guy even close right now is Shesterkin at plus 240. And, with a 935 save percentage, the way he has been playing is unbelievable. And this Jets team in total has been so good. What I love about Connor Hellebuyck is his capacity to just stay within the moment, right? He's so minimalistic. He uses his size well. And that's why you see him with 11-1 record. He can manage the game so well. So his energy distribution is so low. Like when I look at myself, when I played, once I started playing 3-4 games a week, I was toast because I had to work so much harder than this guy. He makes it look so easy, and this Jets team is looking very, very dynamic in the Central.
Huts, let me ask you, looking around the league, is there one goaltender that's been the biggest surprise to you that you just didn't expect?
Honestly, like there's a few guys that I could pick out, but Lucas Dostal, I think what he's doing right now in Anaheim would be my guy. I think he has just been so compact, and especially playing on a team that is still younger in that kind of rebuild phase where they've kept a few guys around, but he's done such a good job. And I think if I was trying to show a younger goalie a guy to maintain your game around, it would be him. Especially, he's not a big guy. You talk about Hellebuyck, you see all these guys that are 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", having success. He does a great job at his size, managing the game, managing the crease. And, I think he's been impressive since the World Championships last year. I think that really, he's using that as a springboard this year into this season.
All right, let's stay in the state of Pennsylvania because we talked about this team earlier, and I can't responsibly have you on this show and not ask you about the disaster in Pittsburgh. And where does Tristan Jarry fit into all this? He's coming back from his conditioning stint. We know how it started for him this year. And you being the resident goalie expert here, like, is there hope that he finds his game and he can get back to form? Or are we talking about a real lost cause this season?
I don't want to say lost cause at all because, every goalie has been through highs and lows, but with Tristan Jarry, it seems like it's endless right now. At least the conditioning stint went well. He went 4-0-1, 926 save percentage. And sometimes playing the American League can be trickier, right? Because it's a different game. Things maybe open up a bit because of defense, of miscues more in the American League. But I think for this Pens team, he's got to get back to where he can be a difference maker every night because it has been ugly to start here. And you look at, I also feel like having Joel Blomqvist there isn't the right play. They got to get him in the minors, protect him. You don't want him taking his bumps and bruises. But Tristan Jarry is 29 years old. He's played in the NHL for a long time. It's time for him to step up or it's time to move on. Because at this point, I think everyone in Pittsburgh is getting sick of this up and down. They need someone that can be solid every night.
There's just no way I think they could even move him. Like what, never mind a contending team, what middling team? Like if you were a GM, would you sign up for 3 more years of this guy at 5.3 mil?
No chance. I'll never knock a guy for getting paid too much, but at this point, if he can come back and at least be stable with Ned being there, because Nedeljkovic is a goalie that can play very well. We've seen that through and through, but he's not a 1A guy. He's not a guy that can carry the mail. Where I think if they can get a 1A, 1B going and kind of feed off each other, there is potential. But the way Jarry has started is horrible. We've seen this in years past where he's taken a lot of heat come playoff time and summertime. This is where, at this point, it's put up or shut up, I think, for Tristan Jarry if he wants to continue on with the Pens or with anybody at this point.
Yeah. Oh, man. Another disaster contract on the Pittsburgh Penguins books. Jeremiah with one in the chat. He's telling me anytime a fan talks shit about Stuart Skinner, just flash up the Jarry stats. And that ties in to our next one here, Carter. There have been 5 Canadian-born goalies this year who have played 10 or more games. None of them have a save percentage above 900. What is Team Canada going to do at the Four Nations Faceoff? What would you do if you were in charge?
I know. It's wild sitting here as a Canadian goalie growing up in Canada that we don't have a guy. Like, we don't have the guy. We had Carey Price. We had Brodeur, Fleury for a lot of years. Patrick Waugh. There's been so many goalies over time where this year you look at what we have, and there's some guys with experience, right? Stanley Cup runs. I think right now my guy would be Jordan Binnington if I had to gun to my head. I also think about Adin Hill. I also think about Stuart Skinner. But for me, there is those, the ups and downs of Adin Hill and Stuart Skinner are the biggest question mark for me. I think with those three guys, you have potential. But then maybe as your number three, I go off the board a little bit. I start thinking about guys that are veteran players. I start thinking about Marc-André Fleury and maybe potentially Cam Talbot. These guys have played a lot of good games and they have a lot of experience. So what I think is the mental capacity to be thrown into a game, especially in a short tournament where we talk about the ups and downs of those other guys, where gun to our head, you have to go to one of these guys. They have experience. They have age to go in there and play well in one game. But I think right now, Jordan Binnington is your guy you're going to see in the Team Canada jersey to start.
I like the Fleury. I like that. I never really thought about that, but you get three goalies. Why wouldn't you bring Fleury? You really have nothing to lose because of the other guys. Although Mackenzie Blackwood has played some better hockey as of late, so you got to think he at least puts himself on their radar.
So for me, I love Blackwood. I'm a big Blackwood fan. He's a Thunder Bay boy. I train with him all the time. My worry in this situation, Kobe, would be like when Blackwood is great, he's busy, right? And now you got to think when they go into a tournament like this, he's going to be protected. It's going to be one of those games where it's not a lot. That's kind of why I throw Cam Talbot in the mix, because I look at the success he had with the LA Kings when he didn't get a lot of work, when he's able to hold that together. So I think as we move forward toward the Olympics, Mackenzie Blackwood is someone that is in the conversation. He has the skill set, the size, but for right now, as that number three position, I just think someone that's a veteran that can handle the moment and being thrown in, it's not going to be overwhelming.
How about this for a Mackenzie Blackwood stat? In 2 games this year where he's faced under 25 shots, he's allowed a total of 9 goals. In the 2 games where he's faced north of 40, he's allowed 5 goals. Half as many goals in the games where he faces nearly twice as many shots. That's crazy. I
watched that San Jose, New Jersey game 2 nights ago on the beginning of San Jose's back-to-back. I mean, they hung on for dear life, and Blackwood made save after save down the stretch against the Devils. So when you said that recent memory completely just rung true. I never would have thought about that. That's why we have you. That's why you're the goalie expert.
That's why I have it. I remember when I played, I had a similar stat line. 35 shots or over. I don't have the numbers, but I was always better when I was busier, right? It takes experience to be good when you don't get as many shots. I always draw back to Ryan Miller trade, right? He went from Buffalo where he was the guy, goes to St. Louis, and he struggled not being busy, right? It's a different mindset and it's a different game to play in net.
Huts, always love the insight, man. Thanks for doing this.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
What's up, hockey fans? If you enjoyed that video, then you need to be hitting the subscribe button right here at Daily Faceoff. Exclusive interviews and analysis from our hockey insider Frank Saravalli, fantasy updates from Brock Sagan, and a daily live show at noon Eastern, Monday through Friday. You don't want to miss any of the fantastic content, so hit that subscribe button.